It is a full moon in Scorpio. Who are my Scorpios? Scorpio energy. I'm going to shuffle cards here for a little bit. During lives, if you have a question regarding a specific message towards you personally, I'm going to try doing that more often. Just because sometimes when I'm doing these readings, some things will come out, and if they resonate with any of the viewers, you know, please comment on here, and I can possibly pull another card and get more deeper with your question or whatever you're resonating with of the topic or some of the subjects or what any of the messages that are coming forward. So I'm going to shuffle my deck. My deck is the Words to Live By. It's right here. I sell it. It's $25. I do readings. Reach out to me. I can do them in person if you're local or virtual. This full moon is kind of bitch slapping me. Comment on here if any of you guys have been noticing. I've had some migraines, and I have not gotten migraines in a very long time. I used to get them all the time, but not recently. But this last week, it just came out of nowhere. We're also going to pull cards from Love Who You Are. I have a specific, the full moon Scorpio here out of this book. And then if there's time allotted, I want to do a three card pull. And I'm going to do like progressive. So whatever I get from the first deck, I am going to ask the cards and ask Spirit to continue with that message using the next deck. And I call that like a progressive reading because I'm asking more questions based on what I get with the first card and based on the Scorpio full moon. So right off the bat, this is a full moon in Scorpio. I'm using the Moonology deck. I love this deck. And look at that Scorpio. Ooh, look at that. So the card says it's time to release negativity. Yeah, I had a lot of negativity today. There was times where I was just like, wow, like where did this come from? And it was just like so in my face. And I had to really, really work at trying to shift my mindset. So I'm going to read from the book for that. It is full moon in Scorpio. So who are my Scorpios? It says, wait, that's not the one. New moon. Hang on a second. Hang on. That's new moon. I want full moon. Oh, that's Capricorn. Hang on. We'll get there. We'll get there. Full moon in Scorpio. If you've been feeling paranoid and acting weird, take this card as a very direct message from the cosmos to stop it. Worrying yourself is pointless. It's time to release any negativity you have around the situation you're asking about. If someone has been unkind to you, it's time for you to release them. Hello, dude the man. Flash for 1 sec, and I okay, sure. This card heralds an emotional intent since both the full moon and Scorpio themselves are both extremely intense. Well, that makes sense. It's time for you to feel all the feelings. There could be some nastiness in the air when you pull this card. Hello, everybody. Keep watching. If that's the case, take it as a sign to move away from anyone or anything you feel is toxic. For some, however, this card has a totally different meaning. Your sex life can improve now. Woohoo! That's a plus, right? If you make an effort, use your magic. You have all you need inside you to bring about your desired results. It's time to move from living fearfully to living joyfully. You're right to have your suspicions. Grudges are toxic, so let them go. The end of an argument. Ooh. The teaching. The full moon in Scorpio has a sting in its tail. It can herald a vindictive end to a relationship. It can also be a time when we want to be good, but we're naughty. If you pull this card, no matter when, your dark side and your shadow self may be showing. The full moon in Scorpio is also a time of magic. If you were thinking of making some magic, this is your sign to do it. Well, that resonates with me. Does that resonate with any of you guys? Yeah, like the intensity, like lots, like my emotions were super intense today. Very much so. Comment on here how you guys been feeling today. And what is a grounding technique that you guys use? I pull cards. I obviously I try to pull cards on a full moon. And I knew today that I absolutely had to do it regardless of the mood that I was previously in. But this is my type of grounding. I actually was outside playing with my dog. I mowed my lawn. I don't know wherever you guys are, but I'm from the Northwest, and so we have lawn to mow already. Yeah, and usually, like, I start experiencing the full moon intense energies like at the beginning of the week. So this weekend I could feel myself ramping up. Definitely. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Or if you want to comment on here your intent for the next card that I'm going to pull. This is from my deck. I made this deck a couple years back. All right. So Spirit, I command that you use me as a conduit for pulling cards tonight and receiving messages for the collective who's ever watching. All right. Opportunity. And do you see the snowflakes? Where I'm at, we don't have snow. So this card is telling me right away that it doesn't matter what season it is, or like if whatever situation you're in, there is always another opportunity. So if you think that you're just down and out and there's no way to get out of this, switch your perspective, because there is opportunities in even I don't want to say negative, but I want to say unhelpful. So there's always good in an unhelpful situation. It happened for a reason. There are no coincidences. And also they're telling me to look at the snowflakes. And every snowflake is unique, just like every individual is unique. And it takes a little bit of looking at each snowflake, because each one's different, but looking at it and really appreciating the difference in each snowflake. So what else, Spirit? I'm going to keep going because I said that was progressive. What else can you tell us about the opportunities for this full moon in Scorpio? Oh, gifts. So like the snowflake, we are all unique, and we all have our unique gifts. We all have intuition. We all have that like gut, that butterflies. We all have that. Start listening to that. Start when you are, like I said, when you're like down and out and you want an answer to questions, sit down, get still, find your center, get grounded, and ask yourself the question. We all have the questions. We all have the answers to our questions within us. And we walk around in our skin suits and we wonder, why our lives are the way they are, but we always have the answer in our higher selves. Our higher selves are always there, regardless if you practice a spiritual lifestyle, regardless if you know your past life or your spirit guides. Go in. You always have access to your higher self. And it's waiting for you. It's you. It's your essence. It's your soul. It's always waiting for you. Oh, I like that. All right, we're going to pull another card. This is a fast reading tonight. I usually do an hour, but not tonight. It's going to be a half hour. All right, what else about these gifts? Let's keep going on this Scorpio energy here. Oh, affirmation. and the number 2. So we had 21 with the opportunity. We had 12 with the gifts, and now we have the number 2, if you guys are into numbers at all. So, Spirit, tell us more about this affirmation card. So when you listen to yourself, when I got like my first true serious I call it like a download, it was basically like a grocery list of itemized things that I was supposed to do. And it was an affirmation of things that I already knew that I should have been doing all this time. I'm just listening. Affirm what we already know. Because, like I said, our higher selves already know. And who doesn't like affirmations? Affirmations are the most easiest. They're readily available. If you can't think of one your own, Google it. There's tons of affirmation apps out there. Like, utilize the technology that we have in a helpful way. I'm going to read from the book for this one. Everyone needs a little pat on the back, a compliment here and there. Those words can be of small significance or a huge, powerful impact. However it gets delivered to you, know that it's a gift from the universe to lift you up and open up a little more space for you to shine your light a little brighter. There's a powerful energy in the positivity we put into ourselves and into others. It can manifest automatically and be reciprocated without effort if practiced more and more. Mantras are a great tool to use to boost confidence and validate our values and bring our self-worth back to center. I am worthy. I am loved. I am enough. Say that out loud again. I am worthy. I am loved. I am enough. Woo! I like the energy from that card. All those cards. And my deck is for sale. It's on Etsy. And I have a bundle special right now where if you book a reading, it's a reading and the deck for $50. Let's see. Okay, the next deck, moving right along. So I'll probably pull 3 more cards from this deck. I love this deck. I'm just going to boast this deck. It is the original one I found on Temu, but it did not come with a physical guidebook. But like, look at this box, you guys. Look at this box. Somebody took their time and really thought about the delivery with this box. And look at these cards. They're like gold. All right. All right, Spirit. Use me as a conduit. We're going to pull some cards on the Scorpio full moon. Now, where I live, the moon has been visible almost every night. And it's so cool. I posted this to my Facebook page, the Intuitive Minds Already Know Facebook page last night. I think I did. Maybe it was my private page. I don't know. But anyways, I was laying there in bed, and every night for like the past 2-3 nights, the moon has been like, when I go to bed, the moon is like, I can see, if I open my curtains, I can see the moon, and I just lay there on my pillow, and I just like kind of like when you're sunbathing. So I was moon bathing, and it just like, I don't know, the energy was just like, I was able to like stop my thoughts from ruminating, and I was just enjoying it. And I'm hoping tonight now with the full moon, the fullest of the full moons, because we usually get like 3 days of full moon-ish, where you can actually, where it looks full. Okay, Spirit, enough of this shuffling. Let's go. Cultivate peace. Number 36. Cultivate peace. Well, in a Scorpio full moon, we got this where it says release. It's time to release negativity. Well, this is a great comeback card for that. And these look like chickadees. Chickadee-dee-dee. Comment on here if you guys have chickadees where you live, because we do here where I live. I just love this card. There's so much in it. There's like ladybugs, and there's like little flowers and butterflies, and there's lace up here. Cultivate peace. So in a time of despair, like I said before, we all have the ability to tap into our higher self. It's always there. It's readily available. And your higher self is kind of like, if you don't know your spirit guide, you can always use yourself as your spirit guide. And once you start practicing, like really talking to yourself, you might not get anything at first. You might get like a blip of a word that comes to your mind. You're like, God, why do I think that? Why did that come up? And you might dismiss it. That's what happened to me. When I first started my journey, I was dismissing because I'm like, that doesn't make sense. But then like 3 days later, I heard it in a song or somebody said it in a conversation. It was like, oh, whoa, like that was the precursor. Like Spirit was warning me like, hey, pay attention because it's coming. So cultivating peace. If I didn't say the number, it's 36. Cultivating peace. So how do I cultivate peace? Well, like I said, I was just negative today and super crabby, and then like just waves. Like one moment I was super sad, and then I'd snap out of it, and then I was like super mad again, and then I'd snap out of it, and it was just like, oh my God. I have to kind of sit myself down and give myself a timeout. That's how I cultivate some peace and peace of mind. I'm going to read from the book for that one because I really like that. Spirit, what else can you tell us about that? Read from the book. Okay. Something will come out. Peace is possible in any given moment when you're not living in the future or the past. So being in the moment. You're invited to unplug from your ambitions and let go of any regrets. There's that let go again. Dwell in this moment only. Let this now have no anxiety and no shame. Both of those pesky guys, anxiety and shame, will be hanging around later looking for attention, but you can decide for now to leave them outside your house of belonging. Surrender to the peace at the core of your eternal soul. We talked about your higher self. Hug your heart. Submerge in a bath. Take a nap. Your peace is a friend waiting to be welcomed. I like that because we talked about your higher self, your inner self, and your inner child. I think we all have little bits and pieces of a wounded inner child within us. Oh, I like that. Let's continue on with another card. Because then randomly I'm going to pull one more from the Moonology deck. All right, Spirit, what else can you tell us about how to cultivate more peace, letting go, being in the moment? Become a wonder hunter. Ask those questions. Be curious. And stop dismissing the signs. Stop dismissing the signs. When I first started my journey, this is a funny story, because I haven't figured out like what actually to do with these things, these rocks. So when I first started, I would come across these rocks and they'd be right in my path, like where there shouldn't be a rock, like where there's a totally smooth paved sidewalk right smack in my path, like I literally would step on it, was rocks. And as I'd pick them up, because like, oh, I like these rocks. They're like the same size, same shape. They were smooth, and it was bananas because I kept running into places with the same rock, and I used to dismiss it for a while. And they're like, no, pick up the rock, pick up the rock. And finally, when I got really into my spiritual journey, I was drawn to crystals, and then I would get like, buy the crystal, buy the crystal. And so these, along the way, the rocks were, you know, they represented things in my life that I needed to pick it up and sit with it. So, and it was weird because, and interesting because anytime I would find these rocks, there'd be something happening in my life that I would have to deal with. And I was in Shopko one time, and my son dropped a dumbbell. Or actually, he didn't drop it. He picked it up, he put it back on the shelf, but he didn't put it on the shelf correctly. And I was standing next to the shelf, and a 10-pound dumbbell fell on my toe. I shit you not. Several days after that, I found a rock. I should find it. I found a rock, and it had a little chip, because it was like an oval. It had a little chip out of the biggest part, which I thought represented like my big toe, because that's what it fell on. And the message was, slow down, pay attention, put shit back properly, or otherwise, you know, you're going to run into unexpected pain. Right. I'm going to pull another card. Look at this. Always settle for more, number 44. And what Spirit's telling me is like, you know, kind of like we wear our heart on our sleeve, but like this is like in the palm of your hand. What else can you tell us? Tell me. Oh. So it's telling me, this is interesting. It's telling me that, like, you know, we are people pleasers kind of by default, some of us. And sometimes we can people please to the point where we aren't reciprocating that back to ourselves. So this card is like, offer yourself love first. Offer yourself love first. Oh, I like that. I'm going to read from the book, because I love these messages from the book. They're so... What you believe you are worth comes from early programming. Our inner child. You didn't make that program, but you can remake it. Take out the old software that says you are limited in scope and should be functional and realistic with your dreams. Once you're willing to befriend uncertainty and failure, you are free to recognize your soul is unlimited, and you have the power to tap that potential through your choices. You can settle for less or settle for more. The effort is the same. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. All right, we still got viewers? Come on, comment on here if you like this kind of quick, progressive card pull. All right, I'm gonna leave that Scorpio one out. Okay, so we're gonna pull a couple cards from this Moonology deck, because I like this deck too. Moonas? Okay, this is supposed to be like an appropriate, let's be adults here. I'm reading the comments, so this is for entertainment, appropriate entertainment. All right, let's be adults here. Okay. All right, Spirit, what else can you tell us about this Scorpio full moon energy? A personal issue reaches resolution. So we got full moon in Cancer, another full moon, another intensity. Full moon in Cancer. Well, it's blue. This one was purple. And interesting, because like the purple chakra is like your crown, where blue is the color associated with your throat chakra. So what can, oh, that's a confirmation. So What can you tell us about the personal issues reaches resolution with the throat chakra? Personal issue reaches resolution. So I'm getting that if you are sitting on something, a personal issue, instead of waiting for it to happen or waiting for something else to like inspire you, or you're waiting for that other person maybe to say it, you might be waiting for a long time. So I would tap into that throat chakra energy and just speak from the truth. Speak from your heart. And that's where we can ask our higher selves. Maybe you're going to have to do that with a little light meditation or some journaling and write out. There is power behind the pen and to the paper. When you sit still, when you get off your phone and you sit in silence, you actually sit down and you journal. So this is what I like to do. I like to pull cards to kind of get my mind and my body still, and then I'll read the card, and then I will write down the question that I'm asking on a piece of paper. And usually between the card messages and asking spirit, more than likely I will have my answer then. So comment on here if how you guys find your truth and how that comes forward. Does it come forward in a song? I've had that happen a lot, where I've had a question or like a decision I need to make, and it'll just be coming up like every single song. There'll be the answer in there. It's pretty cool when that happens, because it really stops you in your tracks. Full moon in Cancer. Let's do it. Full moon in Cancer. Things are likely to get very heated, as full moon in Cancer is a super emotional sign. So there could be something of an explosion of feelings around now or surrounding your question. It's important to be sensitive to other people when you pull this card. There are some very fine sensibilities around, so tread carefully as you move towards your goals or dreams. This card indicates an especially feminine time. It also heralds the time to deal with any family issues coming up. Nothing to worry about. It signals a challenge is now coming to an end. This card also suggests both that a domestic matter or private issue will soon come to a head, and that is a great time to move house. The answer to your question lies in being a kind leader. This is the time for you to step up and agree to overcome your insecurities. Oh, with the letting go. And also, like with that opportunity card with the snowflakes, remember that if something unhelpful or that you consider negative happens, stop a minute and ask yourself, like, why did this happen? Could I have done something different in a more helpful, more positive way to prevent this thing that was unhelpful? And chances are, whatever happened that you thought was negative is basically opening the door to something that has greater potential. That's how I look at stuff that happens in my life that's negative. I was in a pissy mood today, but I got through it, and I'm doing what I consider a really cool, quick card pull. And not only that, but I try not to take I try not to take my personality too personally. I try not to take my moods that I'm in too personal. If there's a message if there's something that I need to address, if there's some shadow stuff that's coming up, I'll kind of sit on it and kind of journal and kind of like talk about it to myself like the next 3 days. And sometimes there's, you know, something like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I need to deal with that. That's why this made me feel that way. And sometimes it's just another like little confirmation or affirmation of something that I might not be doing to the full potential that I need to do. So it's like that. All right. Should we pull one more closing card? One more closing card. I'm just going to tap. I'm going to shuffle. I'm going to shuffle. If you guys are still watching, I have a Facebook group with the same name, Intuitive Minds Already Know, and I kind of flip-flop back and forth between doing lives on YouTube and doing lives on Facebook. So hop on over to Intuitive Minds Already Know on Facebook and request to become a member. Okay, closing card, Spirit, for the full moon in Scorpio. Don't let your past hold you back. And it's kind of like green. It's like a turquoise green. So I'm going to say that that is associated with, well, because it's green and a little bit of blue, it's connected to like your throat and your heart. So speak from the heart. Speak from the heart. Don't let your past hold you back. This is really hard for people. There was, when I started my journey and really like tapped into the shadow work that I had to do, there was so much from my past, and not just like my current past, but like past lives. And that's a whole nother video that I could do on past lives, because I have tapped in a meditative state to some of my past lives, and that can follow us. So if you guys are experiencing some struggles in your life that maybe perhaps are associated with your past, you have the right, the privilege, and the ability. You are more than capable to cut cords with that connection. Cut cords, and if you're thinking about like, okay, I had to do this because it was like my childhood, but I didn't want to cut cords from my childhood. I wanted to cut cords from the unhelpful / negative parts of my childhood that were serving me no good in my current life, in right now. And so that's what I did. I asked Spirit to help me go back to those memories, those situations that happened, those instances, and cut the cord from the negative feeling that's attached to the memories. We don't have to cut cord really from the memory itself, but cut cords from the negative feeling that is attached, the condition, the negative, unhelpful condition that is associated with what happened. And you might have to do this a couple times, and that's when grace, gratitude, forgiveness, and all that comes into play. And it's just a matter of practicing and a matter of keep doing it. Stay consistent, stay routine, do what works for you. Because none of this spirit stuff is overnight. You know, you have to be consistent with it. It's a muscle, you know, it's just like a sport or any kind of new talent or hobby or activity that we want to learn. I'm just trying to find the sort, because it says South Node. Okay, hang on a second here. Hang on. Comment on here if you've had like past life regression. I have. It's very interesting. Do you believe that I was a witch in one of my past lives? South Node. Come on. People are waiting here. It's in the back. There's like special cards back here. Mutable. Supermoon. Okay. The South Node, like the North Node, is a karmic point. but it's opposite to the North Node and relates to the past, perhaps even to past lives. Whatever you're going through and whatever you're asking about, there's a chance that old age programming and conditioning is stopping you from achieving all that you might. Do you feel stuck in something? This card will often come as a sign that the situation or relationship you're asking about has somehow become suffocating, even toxic. It suggests that someone, you even, needs to be released, that there's some kind of addiction going on or unhealthy attachment that needs to be sorted out. One thing is for sure, when you get this card, you're being challenged to make some changes, even if staying where you are feels easier and safer. Additional card, additional meanings. A relationship is karmic and has played out across many lifetimes. Your attraction to someone may be verging on the obsessive, and just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. Oh, that's a perfect closing remark. I love it. All right. I think we will try to be here not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday for another live. And whatever the full moon, whatever day of the week that the full moon lands on, I will try to do my very best to bring you a full moon quick reading. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe and comment. Free reading. Your name will go in at the end of the month for a free reading. Thank you. Have a good night.